Hey everyone, Nathan here. Welcome to Coming Down. This is a little intro episode that I wanted to do just to give everyone a brief history of how we got here and sort of what you're in for moving forward. It's been a long time coming for me trying to start this podcast. Probably about 3 years ago, I had the idea that I wanted to do a storytelling podcast, and I wanted it to be very loose and off the cuff and conversational. Different than the other ones that I listened to, like The Moth and Risk, which by all means are excellent shows, but they always felt so rigid and so scripted. And I wanted the opportunity for listeners to feel like they were in the room with us, hearing these stories, and giving the opportunity to the other people involved in those to sort of have conversation and maybe go off the rails a little bit and talk about more information regarding the story itself. So right off the bat, it became troublesome realizing that I was going to try and have to schedule guests week after week. Just finding the time became very hard to do. And so one night, I'm sitting outside the bar with my dear friend Matthew, and we were trading stories, and then it hit me that, hey, what about a co-host? What if I brought someone else and we just tell each other our stories? And so here we are. I'm sitting down with my dear friend Matthew.
Hey, everybody.
So what's your take on all this? How'd you feel in that moment?
It was like someone was describing the thing that I'd always wanted to do. I was blown away. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I love telling stories, and finding a venue to get those words out there is amazing. I couldn't believe that it isn't something that we'd done before.
Yeah. And so we realized it was an opportunity for us to just tell our stories and kind of put down our memoirs, so to speak. But part of why it's so perfect is because through our hanging out and through just tossing around stories previous to this, we realized we have a lot of weird similarities with kind of our upbringing, the things we went through as kids, and kind of are both in this similar place, and thus the name Coming Down, because, you know, we're not the wild children we used to once be. And so
thank goodness.
Yeah. Right? And so we get to sort of reflect on that and comment on that and see how it's different now that we're kind of aging and coming down on life, you know, and so to speak. So that's pretty much what you're going to be getting into, is a bunch of stories. Some of them are going to be provocative. They're all going to be fairly adult.
Oh, yeah.
So prepare yourself for that. Some will be serious and some will be very lighthearted, and we're going to kind of run the full gamut on it. The other thing you can expect is a bunch of amateurishness. We're just sitting around in my apartment with a recorder, and I kind of like that because I want people to feel like they're in the room with us. So you're going to hear my crazy hell beast of a cat terrorizing things in the house.
Wanny.
If it's super hot, the windows are going to be open. You're going to hear cars driving by.
Loud children.
You're going to hear us cracking beers. But these are all things that I want, and that's sort of intentional. And, you know, we're not pros. So I hope you enjoy that format. The other thing you can expect is we are going to still have guests on. It just won't be every week. It'll usually be us, but we'll get other people on. And so that brings me to, if you would like to be a guest, please get in touch with us. And so I'm just going to kind of run through all the ways you can do that, and that's pretty much going to sum it up for this intro episode, and then you can go and dive into the meat of what we're doing here. So for starters, if you'd like to get a hold of us and be a guest on the show, you can email us at comingdownpod@gmail.com. Episodes are going to come out every Thursday. You can also follow us on Twitter at comingdownpod. And pretty much everything's going to be Coming Down Pod. All right, and then comingdownpod.com is going to be our main landing page for everything. That's also where you're going to find show notes, so if there's any links or pictures that go along with the story, that's going to be the place to find them, as well as our RSS feed. And then all the usual suspects, Spotify, Stitcher, YouTube, Google Play, will be on all of that good stuff, and probably any other place you can find podcasts. And then the other big one, we're obviously going to be on iTunes, but there's a little thing that I'd like to ask everyone, that if you like the show, please go on there and leave a comment. It really does a lot for visibility on iTunes and for climbing the ranks. So if you have a minute, just go on there. We'd really appreciate it. Beyond that, we're not going to do Facebook, because fuck Facebook. And we've just kind of decided we just don't like that platform at all. Don't feel like we need it.
We'd rather stay off there if we can.
Yeah, if you feel like that's how you'd like to interact with us, hit us up. Maybe we'll consider it. We are going to do a SoundCloud, but as of right now, we're not going to do the premium. which means there will only be a handful of episodes on at a time. But you can find us there, and that could change in the future by this final thing. And we are just going to launch this thing with a Patreon. We figured, fuck it, there's probably some people out there who are willing to chip $1 or $2, and that's all we're doing right off the bat is just $1 donation, and we'll give you shout outs, and we're going to find some other rewards and ways to take care of the people who take care of us.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're not trying to monetize. We're just trying to help offset some of the costs that we've already incurred with hosting and everything else to build the website.
Yeah, it's only $15 a month to do the SoundCloud Pro. So if we got 15-ish followers, then we can pay for that. And that's all we're looking to do. So that's basically it. And yeah, enjoy the episodes. Thanks for listening.
Yeah, thanks, everybody.